You know, if you've ever driven around Warwick, Rhode Island, you're surrounded by a secret history. Seriously. It's written on the street signs, on the maps, on landmarks you probably pass every single day. Today, we're going to pull back the curtain on that history, one that's been hiding in plain sight this whole time.
I mean, think about it. Pawtuxet, Apponaug, Shawomet. You see these names all the time, right? They're just part of the local scenery. But there's so much more than just sounds. They're echoes from a really different time, and they're kind of asking us a question. Do you have any idea what we actually mean?
Well, here's the answer. These aren't just random names. They are words. They're what's left of the Algonquian language spoken by the Narragansett people. And they use these words to describe the world around them with incredible detail, basically creating a living map of the entire landscape.
So let's start cracking the code on that map. And the best place to start is with the most important feature of coastal life, the water. It makes sense, right? So many of Warwick's oldest names are tied directly to its rivers, its coves, and of course, the bay. We'll kick things off with a big one, a name for both a village and the river that kind of forms the northern border of Warwick, Pawtuxet. It sounds so familiar, but its real meaning paints a very, very specific picture. The meaning of Pawtuxet is just so direct. At the Little Falls. See, this wasn't just some abstract label they came up with. It was a functional description, a landmark that told you exactly what you were going to find at that specific spot on the river.
Okay, so let's move on to another major village, Apponaug, right there on the bay. Its name isn't about a feature of the water, but instead about the incredible bounty that the water provided. Apponaug means oyster place, or where shellfish are roasted. You can almost picture it, can't you? This name tells a whole story about daily life. It wasn't just a location, it was a place for gathering, for getting food, for community. And you see this pattern all along the coast. Nausauket, which we now call Buttonwoods, meant beach at the outlet. Akipasuiksakit Cove described a place where the river widens. The names were just so practical, so functional, and completely connected to the geography. Now let's see how this exact same idea works when we step away from the shore. Because the Narragansett language didn't just map the water, it described the land itself with that same amazing detail. Okay, take the area of Cowesett, just south of Apponaug. This name gives us a little snapshot of the past, telling us what this area was once covered in. It's like a tiny time capsule. It turns out Cowesett means place of young pines. So just imagine, when you drive through there today, you're moving through a place named centuries ago for the forest that once stood there. The name itself is kind of like a botanical ghost. Now for a really evocative one, Potowomut. That's the peninsula that juts out into Narragansett Bay, and its name suggests it was a place of some pretty significant human activity. Land of Fires, isn't that an incredible name? We don't know for sure what it meant. Was it a place for big ceremonial fires, a network of signal fires, or maybe just a major campsite? The name leaves us with this powerful, really mysterious image. But here's where the story gets a little more complex. Because while we can translate many of these names, some of the most important ones have become mysteries over time. Not every piece of this map can be read so clearly. Just look at this list. Shawomet, the original native name for the entire Warwick area. Conimicut Point, Namquid, or Gaspee Point. For these huge, major landmarks, the precise translations have either been lost or are still heavily debated by linguists today. It's a totally fair question. Why is it that some names are so crystal clear while others are so murky? Well, the answer really lies in the passage of time, variations in spelling by English colonists who didn't speak the language, and, tragically, the loss of cultural knowledge over the centuries. And this isn't just true for the big landmarks. This table shows smaller streams that feed into the Pawtuxet River. We know names like Kikamut and Masquatchahug are from the Narragansett language, but their detailed meanings are now uncertain. They're like these linguistic fossils we can see, but we can no longer fully understand. So what do we do with all this? With what we know and what we've lost? We recognize it for what it is, a living legacy that's embedded in the very ground we walk on every day. Just in this short explainer, we've touched on over 15 places in Warwick whose names come directly from the Narragansett language. This isn't some minor influence. It's a foundational layer of the whole region's identity. And that's really what this all leads to. These names aren't just historical footnotes in a book somewhere. They are a permanent map of a worldview.
preserving this incredible connection to the Narragansett people and how they saw this land. This quote just sums it up perfectly. The names show us how the first people saw and experienced this place, not as a grid of property lines, but as a living, breathing landscape defined by its waterfalls, its pine forests, and its oyster beds.
And that leaves us with one last thought. The next time you see a sign for Pawtuxet or Apponaug, you'll know what it's really saying. And it makes you wonder, doesn't it? What hidden history is written on the map of your town?